Delay before the ball game is done. The field is prepped, and we are ready to play some baseball tonight. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Let's take a look at our Southwest starting lineup for the Rangers. And today, Jeff Bannister going with Chu back in that leadoff spot. In fact, the top 7 spots in the order looking very similar to last night. Joey Gallo with a great power lately, 7 homers in the last 11 games. Robinson, as we mentioned, in center field batting 8th, and Robinson Chirinos doing the catching, will bat 9th.
And Joey, big smile there on his face as well, as it should be. And they'll be going up against Kyle Gibson tonight. I mentioned third stint for him now back from the minor leagues. And here is the pitch arsenal. 58% fastballs. You'll see it at fastball averaging around 92 miles an hour. Changeup, slider, and curveball that he throws there. And it's kind of split up evenly as far as the secondary offerings for Kyle Gibson. We'll see how he does back in his return. Now let's take a quick look at the defense for the Minnesota Twins behind Kyle Gibson. Rosario, Buxton, and Kepler. We talked about this in the first game because this is the alignment that we saw. Very good defensive outfield when you have those 3 guys out there. Escobar, Polanco, Dozier, and Adrianza will be playing first base. Christian is behind the plate to catch Gibson.
All right, and with all that, we are now set to go. The Rangers 52 wins, 57 losses. This the 110th game of the summer. 18 back of the Houston Astros, 4.5 back for that second wild card spot in the American League. This is the 3rd game in our 4-game series here in Minnesota. Chu ready to go. 257 average this year, 14 home runs for Shin-Soo Choo. Yesterday
there for Kyle Gibson. Looked like he was trying to pick something on his glove.
Well, he's set. And now we are underway. That one in there for strike 1.
Gibson has made 18 starts for the Minnesota Twins this year. Not one of those 18 did he throw up a 0 as far as any runs allowed. He had scored on every single one of his starts this year. One of the big problems were the hits. 117 hits in 94 2/3 innings. Good for a 305 batting average against.
Well, 2 strikes to start the at bat with Chu, and then a bouncer down to first base. Handled easily down there by Adrianza. And Chu retired to start the game. So a delay today of 50 minutes. 6:55 first pitch, and how about 65 degrees at game time. We started with our game here on Thursday was in the 50s, 56 degrees. Another very cool one here tonight.
Yeah, we've kind of been all over the place. 77 degrees last night, and so far we got we've got in the 50s, we've got in the 60s, we've got in the 70s. What do we got tomorrow during the game? Of course, we got day game tomorrow here, so we'll see if they mix it up yet once again.
Well, here's Andrus. Elvis with a big night yesterday. 3 doubles in the game. Count 1-1. What the average for Elvis now at 295. With the 15 home runs and 59 RBIs. So a very big year for Andrus. Gibson misses to make it 2-1. Mark Wegner, our plate umpire tonight, along with Marty Foster, Mike McClinsky, Ryan Blakeney, our 4-man crew. The 2-1 and a bouncer in the hole. It's short, nearly smothered by Polanco, but Andrus is on with a base hit.
Well, even if Polanco caught this ball cleanly, I don't think he is throwing out Elvis Andrus. Just hit in the right spot. You see Elvis going in that 6-hole to the right of the shortstop. Yeah, he's all the way in the outfield grass. I'd say there's no chance he's throwing out Elvis, even if he feels it cleanly.
So base runner on now in front of Nomar Mazara. Zara in at 247 today. Yesterday, Nomar with a base hit and a walk. I do want to keep an eye on Andrews. Elvis with 20 stolen bases and 27 attempts. So you would imagine that the Twins would have interest in his presence over there. Omar hammers this ball high in the air out to left field. Rosario going back, looks up, it is gone. A two-run homer for Nomar Mazara. So the Rangers strike first tonight.
Nomar Mazara going opposite field into the Ranger bullpen. We talk about him driving the ball the other way just in general, usually for extra base hits, but he gets an 89-mile-an-hour two-seam fastball. Not a terrible pitch by any means, but you see how he stays on it. Nomar Mazara, such a nice swing. Drives that ball right into the Ranger bullpen. Nomar's second home run since July 8th. He'd been on a little bit of a drought as of late, but a nice two-run shot here in the top of the first.
Well, that's a big swing, and now here is Adrian Beltre. And Gibson pumps one in there for a strike. See Beltre's overall numbers, and then the trend at the bottom there, the 340 average in the last dozen games. Just 1 for 9 so far, though, in this series. The one was a two-run single last night in the first inning against Bartolo Colon. And at the time, CJ, I don't know about you, but I thought, well, it could be a short night for Bartolo Colon, because he had given up some hard contact at that point. Colon would end up throwing a complete game and getting the win. Bouncing ball, shortstop, way over in the hole, makes for a long throw for Polanco, but they get Beltre 2 away.
No, you're absolutely right. It was feeling like it could have been an early exit for Bartolo Colon, but when it was all said and done, he ends up going the full distance on just 106 pitches at 44 years old.
So 2 gone now, and here is Rougned Odor.
This will be interesting. We talked about Kyle Gibson. The hits have been an issue for him this year. 305 batting average again. So the home runs also a problem. 16 allowed in those 94 and 2/3 innings. I guess you go ahead and call it 17 now in 95 and a third. The home run rate 1.5 home runs per 9. Definitely a little bit high. And even though the ball's been carrying better here, this is still a big ballpark. Not an easy thing to do. So we know the Rangers, of course, hit a lot of home runs. We'll see how this goes for Kyle Gibson.
Odor takes it way in, and it is 1-1. Rugi with 24 home runs this year. The average at 219. Yesterday 0 for 4 against Colon. And it's now 2-1. Gibson, though he's given up the 2 home runs, the shot to Mazara, he does have 2 outs already behind him, and he is not, contrary to what we saw yesterday, it's not like he's blown up in this first inning. We saw a couple of innings last night, the 2 starters that were, at least certainly for Martin Perez, that were notable. The 40 pitch first inning yesterday. This one up and in, full count.
You watch Kyle Gibson, you see some pretty live stuff. You saw the fastball there at 94. Very good average fastball velocity for a right-handed starter. You saw a good changeup so far this inning. The breaking ball is pretty sharp. Some frustration here in Minnesota that they have not gotten more out of him.
Payoff pitch, and Odor pops this one up near shortstop. and tucked away to complete the first inning. But the Rangers strike first. Nomar Mazara, a 2-run blast, slightly the opposite way, and a great start tonight. Mazara with his 14th home run of the season, giving a little run support for Cole Hamels. Let's take a look at who Hamels will see tonight for the Minnesota Twins. 52 wins, 55 losses. Dozier has been some trouble up at the top of the order. Grossman, Escobar, Jimenez, and then Eddie Rosario. Maybe tonight is the night the Rangers stop Eddie Rosario. This guy's been something else. Here's Dozier.
I'll take a look at the arsenal here for Cole Hamels. What he's done this season: 51% fastballs, averaging 92 miles an hour. Change, cutter, and curveball as well. And you see pretty even distribution for Cole Hamels between those pitches. The changeup, 197 batting average against.
Ground ball up the middle, and that's a base hit for Brian Dozier.
Let's take a quick look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by DeMontron, RV, Joey Gallo, who talked about Drew Robinson at center, Nomar Mazara in right, Adrian Beltre, 5 Gold Gloves at third base, Andrews Odor and Mike Napoli, and Robinson Chirinos behind the plate tonight with Cole Hamels.
There's Drew.
Yeah, looking relaxed on the outside. I believe a couple butterflies on the inside. Although he did something pretty special his first start in the big leagues, right? Hit that home run in Yankee Stadium. Probably calmed some nerves pretty quickly. And not even before that, right? First play of the game at second base, a tough ball. And he had a great play. So maybe he's not nervous. He's like, come on, I did it in New York already.
Well, at what point,
Minnesota,
when you play in the big leagues, at what point do you sort of calm down?
You know, everybody's different. Every guy is built different.
High fly ball center field. Robinson right there in his tracks. One away.
I think part of it is you get to that point where you're no longer looking over your shoulder, right? You're not kind of watching the trends of the team and saying, well, you know what? This guy's coming off the DL. We got to activate this guy. It could be me. There's a real chance. You know, it might be the guy that gets sent down or moved, whatever it may be. I think once you kind of get that past that point, that certainly helps. But like I said, everybody's different. Everybody gets to that point of confidence. Maybe not confidence, but even being relaxed and feeling like, yes, I belong here. I proved I belong here. Obviously, the Rangers like Drew Robinson, no doubt about that. But again, it all depends on how you're built. Some guys don't think about that stuff at all, and some guys are always occupied by it.
Well, now Eduardo Escobar, Dozier over there at first base, and this one sails a little bit on Hamels. Escobar, 265 average. A little bit of power in that bat. Pepper out in front of the plate, and then did he kick it or did he hit it with the bat? Either way, he's out.
It definitely hit him. I don't know if he just ran right into it. A weird play here by Escobar. He seems really frustrated. He didn't get a chance to at least try to run this thing out. You're going to see this ball go fair with a little bit of weird spin on it. He just took off, and he's looking right at the baseball. Oh, he hit it with his bat. Oh, we had it wrong. Are you kidding me?
It looked like
that was intentional.
Yeah.
That was 100% intentional. Looked like field hockey. It's like, all right, I hit it once, but I can keep hitting it right wherever I want. But the call, I wonder if they saw that as clear as we did on the replay.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is unbelievable. Two things I've seen today that I've never seen in a baseball game. Well, I shouldn't say in a baseball game, at the ballpark, right? We use that phrase all the time. That was the second. I've never seen a player try to hit a fair ball with his bat. I've never seen it. Have you ever seen that?
No. No, because it was clear to me that he was trying to tap that a second time.
I'm not going to get a hit on this. Let me see if I can hit it a little
They probably won't notice.
The other one I saw today, which I thought was pretty humorous, was during the rain delay. It was before the game was supposed to start. The tarp was completely on the field. So the whole thing is covered in white. Did ceremonial first pitch. The guy went out there on top of the tarp, on top of the mound, and threw the first pitch while somebody else was standing at home plate on top of the tarp. I've never seen it.
No, that was weird. And I wonder, how did he get out?
I think he went out there before anybody said, I'm doing this anyway.
And somebody thought, yeah, maybe just everybody assumes you wouldn't go out on the tarp. And then when he went out there, they're like, oh, boy.
Not the safest of moves, of course, it had been raining, right? Probably a little slippery.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you pretty much get one shot at that your whole life, right?
For sure.
So you're doing it your way.
Dozier running. Bouncer up the middle. Odor in position. Throws it across to get Jimenez, and it completes the inning. And a weird bottom of the first it was. No runs, a hit for the Twins. And after one, the Rangers lead 2-0. Here in the second inning, Mike Napoli to start things off. By the way, in that bottom of the first inning, that play by Eduardo Escobar, when he tapped the ball a second time with his bat, that I am assuming that goes the same as if he did run into it with his foot. So the put out would go to the catcher. It'd just be a 2 unassisted put out and a dead ball.
Okay.
And so
it wasn't like a batter's interference was not the official call or anything like that.
Just like, I guess, an extension of him running into the ball. So in any case, Napoli takes 2 balls here. It started in the second inning. Napoli at 200 for the year. Gibson, good movement on that one. It's 2-1.
All right, so that was number 2 of the day.
Yeah.
Take a look at here at number 1. This is fantastic. What do you see this first pitch on the tarp? And what a catcher, by the way. I didn't even notice the catcher. I was so locked into the guy just doing it. That's a sweet glove, too. That should have been the Dave Raymond Little League glove. You would have never made an error with that thing.
Don't be so sure. 2-1.
Tough to turn a double play with that thing, though, for sure.
It would be. A good count here for Napoli. Chance to sit on something he likes. Just one hit so far in this series, 1 for 8. Pulls it foul. It's a full count. Yeah, I hate to say it. The visit to the tarp to throw out the first pitch might have been superseded by the catcher. That was awesome.
Oh, pretty incredible here. I'm rolling in the top of the second inning.
Yeah, there's ball 4. Napoli takes the walk to start this second. Well, first free pass issued by Gibson. And now Joey Gallo, you see 29 home runs, 4th in the American League. We talked about it quite a little bit in our pregame today about the success he had here in the Futures game in 2014. Eye-popping batting practice that he had, and then the big home run about 420 feet or so in the game off Michael Feliz for the international team. That's the U.S. won that Futures game 3-2, and Gallo's home run was the difference.
And that was before the concrete dried out and the ball really was carrying the way that it is now, right? That's the other
Thank you. That was the next observation that needed to be made. Yep, right out there.
But I mean, I don't know, even more impressive that he hit one further off a big league pitcher, right?
For sure. This is a big time pop up out into short left field. Gallo lost the majority of his bat with that one, but that pop up is out number 1.
Well, he still has the handle in his hand. But the other 85% of that bat, man, so scary when that happens. It's certainly good to see that we got some smiles there. Take a look at this. That is amazing. That's how strong Joey Gallo is. Friday the 13th.
Really? Strange day so far. Well, here's Drew Robinson. And he takes a strike. There you go. That's a nice souvenir.
It's a great souvenir. Usually they take those away, don't they? Got to get it later. Here in
Yeah.
Minnesota, a little more trustworthy, the fan base.
Yeah, perhaps. Or maybe they just haven't gotten down to him yet.
And we just ratted him out.
Ball and a strike now on Robinson. And there you see it. When he has made contact, the ball is carried for him. 4 of his 5 hits for extra bases. 364 on base average for Robinson. One of 5 left-handed hitters in the lineup today, and he takes that one low.
Well, as much as we talk about so many guys in this lineup, consistency of at bats, right? Joey Gallo so important with his swing. We'll see what happens here with Drew Robinson. He made a really nice splash in his first handful of starts, but the playing time just was not there for him, and we'll see if this is an indication that he'll get some more.
Now Napoli was running on the pitch, and that one singled through into right field, opened up a nice hole. Napoli able to get to third base on the Robinson single.
Well, Mike Napoli very easily, I think, could have stolen this base, and not a big part of Mike Napoli's game. No stolen bases yet this year, but how about that jump? It was unbelievable, but Drew Robinson gets a pitch that he can handle. He turns it into first and third, as you see him kind of peeking there at Mike Napoli. That was an unbelievable jump. I don't think that was a hit and run, because a hit and run, you know, you're not thinking about a monster jump.
No.
You're kind of peeking in a little bit. Like Mike Napoli picked up on something from Kyle Gibson and was just trying to steal that base.
So now the middle of the infield at double play depth. Runners on the corners, one out for Chirinos. Gibson, that ball moving a little bit tonight, but that one moves just off the inside corner for ball one.
Stuff is good. You can see it. And, he's been around for a little while. So it's not like this is a rookie trying to figure out, exactly, how to pitch in the big leagues. Kyle Gibson has been around, a lot of up and down in his career as far as, consistency. But this is his 117th start at the big league level. There's been some good and there's been some bad along the way.
Well, he is pitching for the Twins for the first time since July 22nd. And that was in his last start. He gave up 3 runs, 7 1/3 innings, but was sent out to AAA Rochester. Prior to the demotion, was 2-2 with an earned run average of 6 in his 4 July starts. So the numbers weren't great. They sent him down and now have recalled him right back to the team. So there have been some struggles this year for him. Twins sent outfielder Zach Granite back out today to make room.
Yeah, we didn't get a look at Granite. A lot of talk about him around here and wondering if he could be a potential help to this team at the big league level. But we did not get a chance to get a first look at him, but we're told at least that he's a guy that's well liked in the organization. You see Paul Molitor there.
Grant came in as a pinch runner last night, and that was pretty much it. Came in after Sano was hit, did get 1 at bat, but would have liked to have seen a little bit more from him as Chirinos fights one off, and the count 1-2. Robinson, the everyday guy behind the plate, will get the majority of starts. He and Brett Nicholas forming the catcher's tandem now for the Rangers, with Jonathan Lucroy traded over to the Colorado Rockies at the deadline. Rangers got a couple of runs in the first on a Mazzara homer. An opportunity, though, to add to that right here. Napoli at third, Robinson at first. Again, they will chase him back. Robinson has attempted just 1 steal so far this year. Gibson, good size, 6'6", 215 pounds. Former first rounder, and his 1-2 pitch. This one lifted high in the air, out to left center. A little miscommunication. Rosario ended up making the catch, tagging at third base Napoli. He scores. It's a sac fly for Chirinos. But boy, that nearly a whole lot more.
Yes, or what you have was Rosario trying to work Mike Napoli and get him to leave early. All right, let's see here. He's under it. I don't know if this is miscommunication or him going, oh, yeah, it was. Oh, never mind. You're right. I was wondering if he was switching from, he had no play at home plate, right? So was he switching from I'm going to catch it high to go basket style to see if he could potentially catch Mike Napoli leaving early? No, he wasn't thinking that. There was some panic in his face right there, and he caught it at the last second. I thought he was being pretty sneaky.
Well, it was weird. I mean, that's now a couple of times we've seen that in this series where he and Buxton are both close to the baseball, and Buxton has deferred to Rosario and let him handle the play. And I guess it's just odd to me because we always think of the center fielder as the general out there. If he's calling for it, you peel off, he handles it. But Buxton, a couple of times now, has been in that spot where you're like, oh, well, obviously he's taking it, but Rosario is the one who ends up actually making the play.
No, and you can definitely, I think, appreciate the fact that you got a guy like Rosario who wants it, but yes, you want your center fielder kind of taking over in that situation. Now, it could be the other one there is if you think you're going to take a shot at home, whoever has the better arm, they know that, right? And whoever maybe has the better angle as far as coming in and making a throw, but I don't think they were even thinking about a play at home in that spot. So, yeah, maybe some communication issues that these guys are working out.
Drew Robinson still over there at first, and After Napoli's jump earlier in the inning, it's pretty clear that Gibson has decided he's going to pay not just more attention, but significantly more attention to runners. Off the plate, 2-1 to Shin-Soo Choo.
And I don't watch batting practice every day, but I was down there field level today watching, and Choo was launching some baseballs today. I don't know if he does that all the time. He was digging in and showing some pretty unbelievable pop. I don't make a lot of it. It's batting practice. He's a veteran. He's been around, but he looked like he was feeling really good today in BP.
This one down the left field line, slicing into that corner and foul. 2-2. Yesterday, Choo was 1 for 4 with a run scored. He grounded out his first time tonight. Not very nearly was a double. Two outs, Robinson going. There's a swing and a high fly ball, but to short right field, and Kepler coming on makes the play. So the inning is done. Rangers will have to settle for the 1 run. They leave a man. After 1.5, it's the Rangers 3 and the Twins nothing.
Welcome you back to Target Field. Well, we also have Joey Gallo destroyed that bat in the last half inning. We always talk about the strength when he's hitting the ball, but how about the strength when he's throwing? That leads us to our State Farm winning combination of strength and ability to adjust. Bannister said you should have seen him in spring training. He does not have a typical outfielder's arm. He is definitely above average. And the fact that he's been able to play 3 different positions, learn all the different throws, the different footwork, guys, Gallo has overall adjusted very well.
Yeah, he sure has, and it was impressive to watch that arm. We'll see a ground ball here, and one that's easily handled by Rudy Odor. But maybe you think too a little bit on Joey Gallo, and I'll have to ask Jeff Bannister about this. Because of the plus arm, would he be better suited in right field? You know what you think about it. Nomar Mazara's got a very good arm, but I think what we saw from Joey Gallo from a velocity standpoint, it might be better. And so you always put your strongest arm, if you can, if they're capable, in right field. Of course, because you can make that throw to third base and think about trying to cut some guys off going from first to third. Not that Nomar can't do that, but you just wonder a little bit if Joey were to stick in the outfield long term. I don't know. Would it be better to have him in right field? It hasn't been a topic that I've heard come up, but it's kind of an interesting one. After watching him make that throw last night, that was pretty impressive.
Well, you know, he has as good an arm as really anybody on this team. I mean, he's right there with Matt Bush. It's silly what he can do. He is so athletic. As a high fly into center field, Robinson camps underneath it. This is the play we're talking about from last night.
mean, look at this thing. Just tremendous carry. It was up a little bit, yes, but that was impressive. It wasn't exceptionally deep, but it's still a really good throw. I mean, certainly deep enough. And he throws this on a fly like it's nothing. And point being, you watch that. He's got another 20 feet on it. Think about how far he can actually throw the baseball on the line a little bit. Feeling it. He's in the flow. He knows we're talking about him. But anyway, fun to watch. And that gets you thinking, right? So he hits monster home runs, throws the ball 100 miles an hour from the outfield. Is there anything he doesn't do, like tremendous power?
Adrianza with a fly ball again to center. More work for Drew Robinson. He's had a busy night already. 3 putouts for him, and it's a 1-2-3 bottom of the second inning for Cole Hamels.
Already leading the Twins by a score of 3-0. Well, wake up! It's baseball time in Texas. Be one of the first 10,000 fans to the ballpark on Sunday, August 13th, and you'll take home a Rangers talking alarm clock, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Brookshires. The Rangers take on the Astros. That game will be at 2:05, and you can get your tickets at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS.
Gibson goes to work against Elvis Andrus. And throws ball 1. Andrus reached on a hit in the first inning. Found a hole between third and shortstop. The stop, he did not. He went after that one. And the count 1-1. Average continuing to climb for Andrus. And Gibson buries that one. It's 2-1. Gibson, a guy who has had good success against the Rangers in his career. 5 career meetings. He's 2-0 with a 2.84 earned run average. But tonight has fallen behind 3-0. And it goes 2-2 now on Elvis.
It's a matter of consistency. I think you can see it right away. We've already talked about it. You can see the good stuff, the good fastball, the movement, the secondary pitches as well, all look pretty sharp. It's just a matter of, for any pitcher, consistency. And Elvis certainly did not like that call.
Strikeout victim, first strikeout of the night for Kyle Gibson.
We'll take a look at this fastball that Elvis Andrus believes was off the plate. So you see where the yellow dot finished, and then watch the catcher's glove. Yeah. That's all you need to know. And Elvis knows that was a ball, and he's got a really good case.
Chris Jimenez, former Ranger, doing the work back there. Now the first pitch to Mazzara. Very high. Nomar with a big home run earlier tonight. That was in the first inning. ball, 1 strike. Nomar, last 8 games and then tonight. 12 for his last 33. A couple of home runs mixed in there as well. So right now, well, a nice little run. The count 1-2. That home run extended his hitting streak to 5 games. So starting to string together consistently good at bats. All this coming on the heels of a long hitless stretch for Nomar. And it's like the switch just flipped like immediately, real simply. It's like, oh, oops. I was trying, couldn't get a hit for the world. And then now it's just on a nice little run.
Well, the thing about Nomar Mazara, you watch him, you don't see a lot of change in the swing. It's very consistent, very quiet, very still. That's why when he's on, he drives the ball the opposite way very well. We saw it on the home run in the first inning. We've also talked about how Jeff Bannister has left him in that 3 spot. So that also talks to the confidence they have in him, but the personality, right? You sit there and you watch him. Like you said, it almost seems like he just flipped the switch, but nothing looks different about him. He doesn't look any more confident, less confident when he's struggling. There's just a lot of consistency to Nomar Mazara's game, and then we forget sometimes. Guys like that get a little underappreciated. He's 22. He's 22 years old, and he has that kind of attitude hitting in the middle of the lineup in the 3 spot for a team that expects to contend. It's unbelievably impressive.
Gibson's 2-2. And he strikes him out swinging. So back-to-back Ks to start the 3rd inning for Gibson. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana. So the Cubs, another win at home. They had a half-game lead on Milwaukee going into play today. And that snapped a little 3-game losing streak for them. Adrian Beltre grounded out of the first. He's 0 for 1. That one a good pitch. Right in there. Ball and a strike now. Gibson just 29 years old. And brings that one across the plate for strike 2.
Good combination. Starts off Adrian Beltre with a changeup, good one that was located down, or excuse me, the second pitch, and then comes back with the fastball. He missed with the slider to start, so really using his entire repertoire here so far against Adrian in his second at bat.
Gibson right back to the plate, and there's a foul ball. Beltre stays alive. Rangers got a couple in the first, another in the second inning. Adrian, of course, recently reached that 3,000 hit plateau. I went to see Paul Molitor today, the manager of these Minnesota Twins, who has over 3,300 hits himself.
And he said, "How'd you get in here?"
And you know, it's funny, actually, as I was leaving, he did have a question for me. That was not the question. He says, "Hey, Adrian mentioned how long he's going to keep playing." And I said, "Well, he's got another year on his deal with us." And then he said he's just going to, listen to his body, take it year by year. Yeah, that's probably the smart thing. And I said, "Well, why do you ask?" He says, "I really wanted to go tell him, if you play for a couple more years, you can catch me."
Mm-hmm.
Protecting those 3,300 hits.
There's a pretty decent chance, unless Adrian really surprises us all and maybe shuts it down a little bit earlier than expected. I'd say there's a very good chance for him to catch Paul Molitor. You see here some of the career accolades. You mentioned over 3,300 hits. That is 9th all time, and maybe he likes being in the single digits, right? Doesn't want to necessarily. He's already got knocked down a couple of times, right? Jeter's gotten him, so you worry about that a little bit, I guess. Paul Molitor played until he was 41 years old. And we talked about this before with Adrian. Right? Adrian didn't limp to 3,000. Right? He wasn't like, oh, trying to get there.
Right.
And was ugly, and it was like watching an Aerosmith concert 30 years after they were good. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he is still in his prime and still crushing it. Paul Molitor at 41 years old hit 281 with a 335 on base percentage with 560 plate appearances.
Yeah. This ball hit hard into left field. That's a base hit for Adrian Beltre. So a 2-out single extends the inning. It'll bring up Rougned Odor. For a little more on Beltre, let's check in with Leslie.
I asked Adrian how it 3,000 is over, and he said, honestly, it's a little bit of a relief. He said, I still want to get ahead, but it's not nearly as meaningful. Now I'm trying to just really focus on winning games. But he did say it was a nice gesture when he got here from the organization, the fans, the way they receive him. They actually put something up on the billboard for him when he first came here and tipped his hat to it. So it's been neat for him to go to road games and see how other fans appreciate him as well after that 3,000 mark, guys.
Yeah, and he was today. When I went down there, he had a couple of cases of baseballs that he was signing. It's just now he's grinding away on that part of the job. Had to sign a bat today too for somebody upstairs here. So I mean, he's still a lot of attention, a lot of work that goes along with it. A little bouncer by Odor down to first base, and that makes for a quiet top of the third inning. Beltre adds another hit to the resume, but the inning is done after 2.5. Rangers leading 3-0. He's 3-0 Rangers leading as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Our Kubota power stats. All right, so with Cole Hamels, the batting average on balls in play is at .242, fifth lowest among American League starters. As Max Kepler fouls off strike one. Also the lowest of his career. Now we're talking about a minimum of 10 starts, but at .242 batting average against on balls in play is BABIP, if you will.
I will.
All right. So is he lucky, or is he just getting weak contact like this ground ball to short? Andrews makes it one away in the third.
Oh, we've watched him. I don't think he's gotten lucky. I don't think we're seeing a lot of hard hit balls that just happen to be going right at guys. We've seen a lot of weak contact. We've seen more contact, right? We talked about that at the beginning of the year with Cole Hamels and the strikeouts being down. So there's been a higher frequency of contact than we're used to seeing over the course of his career. That has since changed. I mentioned that in the open. Since July 1st, that has really picked up for him, and a lot more swings and misses. But there's good defense here. I think that's part of it as well. And think about how many double plays this team turns. Cole Hamels has gotten 11 of them in his 12 starts. And so I don't feel like I've seen hard contact or even the defense showing maybe more range than expected, right? Where he's gotten lucky where they've covered so much of the outfield or line drives in the infield or anything like that that's really just sticking out as luck. I think he's throwing the ball well, and it makes a lot of sense. And as you get a little older, and the stuff comes down. It really hasn't yet for Cole Hamels, but older and wiser, and he's always been very consistent and good over the course of his career. He knows how and understands the value of, yeah, strikeouts are fun and they're nice, but at bats that you can end within 3 pitches and keep the baseball off the barrel, those are more effective. And I think that's what we're seeing.
So 1-1 here to Jorge Polanco. 1 out, nobody aboard. He gave up a leadoff single to Brian Dozier in the first inning and has retired 7 in a row since. And a curveball swung on and missed. All right, what about that particular statistic? BABIP. Is it?
BABIP.
Does it have?
Let's say fast. BABIP.
Value? Is it?
It's a good indicator. It's not a perfect indicator of luck. It's a decent indicator. It gives you an idea. I think with a lot of the advanced metrics, the ones that you can't say, yeah, you know what, that one is a perfect stat, does a great job. This one that gives you a nice little reference point, gives you an idea if you're starting to look at a hitter. I think you also have to look at exit velocity as a whole. You have to look at line drive rate if you're going to try to figure out is the guy been lucky or not lucky. And I think all of those things kind of work together, and then you can kind of dig in a little bit and go from there. By the way, just to put it in perspective, we showed it at 242, right? That was the average for him this year. 297 is the league average. Right? So about 50 points, a little bit better than 50 points. Better than the league average.
And that is a huge gap. He now goes to work against Dozier. Struck out Polanco, first strikeout of the night for him. Dozier 1 for 1. That one drops a little bit low, so he's fallen behind the Twins' leadoff man here. Dozier now at 291 for the year, getting on at a 350 clip. Quick shift now on the infield. That was awesome. As the pitch was being thrown, or as Hamels was going into the windup, Odor was racing over to the other side of the bag.
And maybe a timeout, you know, a little TO. Right, give me a second here.
Hey, watch this.
Oh, you want to go over here? No problem.
Man in motion.
That's a perfect legal formation.
And there's a strike. It's 3-1 to Dozier.
And we'll finish up our BABIP talk today here in the bottom of the third. Ervin Santana's got the best in the league at 223.
Ooh. That's really low. There's ball 4, and Dozier, the only man who has reached base tonight for the Twins. He's done it twice. Single and now the walk. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know how much to put into that number.
It's not a be-all end.
Are there guys who historically, year in, year out, beat league average on that?
I haven't paid that close attention to it enough to say this guy's a great BABIP type of pitcher.
Okay. So to me, that's all I need to know, right?
Yeah.
If you don't care very much about that, because I see you as a guy who, you know, you like to look at the various analytics that are available.
Trying to educate myself a little bit here and there, but I do find myself at the same time saying, okay, well, here's where the game's going. Here's what people are talking about. Pay attention. And do you think you can use it as a good way to present the game for us on television? Right? I don't want to miss anything that I think is going to be really good, but I'm not in love with it. I wouldn't talk about it a ton. I think it's interesting once in a while. I think pointing out that Cole Hamels has a career best, BABIP is worth talking about, and then kind of getting into, you know, what the number actually means and where its value is there. But it is not the best indicator of as far as how his season's going.
All right, then one last thing on it. Who has the worst right now in the American?
Clayton Richard, I saw, it's 364.
So
San Diego of qualifiers.
Okay.
Yeah, there he is. Kevin Gausman second, probably not surprised. Now, listen, if you're having a bad year, you're letting up a lot of hard contact, that number's going to be up. If you have a high batting average against, of course your BABIP's going to be even higher. Martin Perez, 4th highest in the league right now.
Well, they got a pick off here. Dozier was running. The throw down to second, and they got him stealing. That's a 1-3-4. Caught stealing, and it ends the inning. Oh, nicely done by Hamels. We go to the 4th inning. Rangers by 3. 3-0 Rangers lead as we go to the 4th inning. And tonight's game is on AFN, the American Forces Network, now in its 75th year of broadcasting to American military personnel overseas in more than 170 countries and naval ships at sea. Welcome to those watching tonight, and thank you all so much for your service. Great night tonight. What a wonderful Saturday night from here at Target Field. A little rain earlier, but it's perfect now as Napoli leads things off here in the 4th. Napoli, Gallo, and Drew Robinson in this 4th inning. Napoli walked in the 2nd, eventually scored on a Robinson-Chirino sacrifice fly. Bouncer at third base. Escobar well behind the bag, long throw, but has plenty of time to get Napoli one away.
Let's take a look at this pickoff from Cole Hamels, and you're going to watch Dozier. He took off even before Cole Hamels lifted his leg. And we talk about trying to anticipate or going first move against left-handed pitchers. That's the play more often than not. Brian Dozier just went, period. He wasn't actually going on the first move. He actually went before Cole Hamels made any kind of move, and Hamels with a heads-up play to throw over. Trying to anticipate was Brian Dozier, and he guessed wrong.
Meanwhile, here with one out, Gallo lines that one into left field. So a base hit for Joey right off the end of his bat, and he'll take it. A little smile on his face.
Hector Ortiz, I think, checking on Joey Gallo to make sure he's okay. Why? Because he went the other way with a base hit. We're so used to seeing Joey Gallo drive the ball out of the ballpark, and you wonder how many times he would do that before that shift maybe would start to come back the other way. There was just one infielder on the left side, and Joey Gallo lined it over his head. Nice job. That was a good two-seam fastball running away from him, and he kept his bat intact. That's some good news.
Yeah, that's bigger still. Drew Robinson takes one off the plate. Drew with a base hit. 1 for 1 tonight. Has a start in center field. And had a number of opportunities right off the bat. 3 catches in the first 2 innings. I was talking to Drew before the ball game today. This surprised me a little bit. All right, because he's become this great utility man now, a guy who can play anywhere on the infield and increasingly anywhere in the outfield. And so we were talking a little bit about just versatility, learning to play these positions. They said, you know, it hit him just recently as the questions continue to come about how you can play all over the diamond. He said, you know, I didn't really think about it much. He said, but ever since I've been playing, like as a little kid, I was never the stud. I was never the, you know, the guy who was the shortstop. He's like, my travel league teams, my little league teams. He says, you remember how everybody would pitch? Well, when a pitcher would come in from left field, Drew, go to left field. He said, I didn't even pitch. So they bring the shortstop in to pitch. Drew, go to shortstop.
Yeah.
We're putting him back in left field. And then, all right, now the first baseman's coming. Drew, go to first base. And he said, it was always that way. I was the guy who just, I don't know, played where the other guys weren't playing.
Or maybe where, you know, if his dad wasn't coaching, he didn't get to play shortstop.
Well, that could be.
That's a little phenomenon that we have in youth sports. But yeah, it's pretty funny. It's always interesting when you see a guy get to the major leagues, and it's not an uncommon story where they tell you know what, I wasn't the best amateur on my team. There were kids that were better than me, you know, even as young as 10, 11, 12 years old. When after a couple of years after I got drafted, I was back in my hometown, and a guy that I played with and knew for a long time came up to me. I hadn't seen him in years. He goes, he's looking at me like, what happened? He goes, you weren't even that good in Little League. I was like, whatever. But he was right, average. But it's an interesting story. So it maybe worked his advantage, right? Learning all those different positions for Drew Robinson, being all over the place. And I tell parents that stuff all the time. Everyone gets so locked in. I want my kid to be the shortstop. I want him to, you know, hit third, whatever. Let him play some different positions. Learn multiple positions. You never know, even when you get to high school, where there might be an opening, where there may be a need. And if you can play a position that somebody else can't, that is only an advantage for you.
Inside on Robinson, and it's a full count. Well, it's turned out to be quite an advantage for Drew. I mean, he is the backup shortstop here. He's the backup second baseman. He's the backup everywhere. And Jeff Bannister feels pretty comfortable with him in any spot. Another toss over there. This time checking in on Gallo. Second time this year that Banny has put Robinson as the starter in center field. He has played him more commonly in left. This one down in the dirt. That's ball 4, and Robinson takes his base. So he has singled and walked. Good day at the plate for him. 2 men on now for Robinson Chirinos. Well, Chirinos had the sacrifice fly in the second inning to make it a 3-0 Rangers lead, and now in a spot where if he could find some grass in the outfield somewhere, he could tack on another run. Byron Buxton was playing him really deep in center field, a lot deeper than I'm used to seeing Buxton set up. Normally Buxton will play a more shallow center fielder. He's tremendously athletic.
That's surprising too, because you think about Robinson Chirinos. Yes, he has shown some power this year, but he's still a 9-hole hitter here for the Rangers. Joey Gallo runs pretty well. You think about maybe trying to cheat a little bit to cut off the runner on a base hit, but right now Joey Gallo would easily score on a base hit to center field. I shouldn't say it, but most likely would score. Pretty good chance based on where Buxton is playing.
Back pick down to third, and Robinson smelled that one coming, able to get back there. Jimenez really felt like he had something. You could see him almost forfeiting the pitch in advance of the throw.
Yeah, you wonder a little bit if they were trying to take advantage of a rookie, maybe catching him off guard.
So point taken. Robinson, all right, I see you. There's a bouncer. Shortstop, what a play by Polanco. They get the out at second. The relay to first, and oh my, what a double play. How did he get the ball? That will end the inning. And we go to the bottom of the 4th.
High-speed replay, and what a time to do it here. Robinson Chirinos smokes this ball, but what a play by Polanco, fielding it cleanly, and then the great throw to second base. Brian Dozier with a nice turn in plenty of time. But are you kidding me? Look at that diving backhand pick and the perfect throw from his knees, and Kyle Gibson says thank you very much, and understandably so. Wow, that was something special.
Gibson, that's what we've been practicing. You know, thanks. Now Hamels back to work, and he'll have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Twins. Grossman, Escobar, and Jimenez. Well, that was some kind of defensive play started by Polanco. Hamels goes 1-1 to Grossman. I always wondered when plays like that occur. Yeah, I would think there'd be a little adrenaline, little bit of a lift that a team could take from that as Grossman pops it up out there to short right field, and Odor able to get to it 1 away.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly feels good. You think about the opposing pitcher, or the pitcher, on the mound in that situation is probably thinking, yeah, that's pretty helpful, because that ball was hit hard, right? And you're trying to get maybe a little bit of momentum going. He already walked a hitter, a base hit as well to Joey Gallo, and looking like, what, could be a potential rally. You got the 9-hole hitter, Robinson Trinos, smoking a baseball, and instead it turns into an unbelievable double play. That's a game changer.
So now Escobar 0 for 1 tonight, and maybe one of the greatest at bats we've witnessed this year. Hits this ball sharply and up the middle. That's a base hit. He's going to turn first and go for 2, and that might not be a good decision. The throw way in front of him, and he is out. Where in the world was Escobar going? Drew Robinson guns him down at second base by a mile.
Well, some questionable decisions tonight by Escobar. Of course, tried to double hit his own base hit back in the first inning, but testing Drew Robinson, and really, I don't know what he was thinking, because this was not even close unless he was anticipating a bad throw. Now, you love the aggressiveness in the sense that when he's coming out of the box, he's thinking a base ahead, which you should be, but as he's coming around first, that play is right in front of him. That's when he's, okay, now it's time to stop being aggressive and go back to first base. But no, Escobar kept going, and Cole Hamels will take it.
Yeah, so Jimenez steps in with the bases empty and 2 out. I mean, maybe the scouting report was, hey, Drew Robinson in center field, don't know a lot about this guy. Let's make him make a play today, guys. Let's make him make a throw. But I don't think the intent was on that kind of a play. My goodness. 2-0 to Jimenez. That's just low-hanging fruit for Drew Robinson. And for, I would imagine, for most center fielders. I mean, that's a play that you figure just about any of them are going to be able to make.
Johnny Damon can make that throw. We know Johnny Damon did not have a very good arm. Kenny Lofton, they must have center fielders that did not have strong arms.
Bouncer third base. Boy, that one scalded. But Beltre is there, and he's got the strong arm, and he throws out Jimenez to end the inning. So we've seen some defense the last inning and a half. We go to the 5th inning, 3-0 Rangers. Baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile, and Mitch Moreland A walk-off home run in the 11th last night. That's 10 extra innings wins for the Red Sox, and that is 5 straight for Boston as well. Paul Goldschmidt, last 10 games, has been absolutely raking for the Diamondbacks. And Felix Hernandez, another trip to the disabled list, this time with biceps tendonitis. Every time you think the Mariners are going to make a little run, they're a game over 500 going into play today. It is another injury to the long list of injuries this year for them.
I think it's 15 that I see now starting pitchers that are going to have to use this year, most in Major League Baseball. That is some deflating news for the Seattle Mariners, who are, like a lot of other teams, trying to make that run, trying to get it together, and they certainly are one of those clubs that are right in the mix that could have a run in them, but that will be difficult to do without Felix Hernandez. Of course, Hisashi Iwakuma's also been on the DL, so those are a couple of really big pieces. James Paxton's missed some time this year. It's pretty difficult to contend when you have those 3 arms missing significant time.
Well, back to the top of the order for the Rangers. Chu, Andrews, Mazzara here in the 5th inning. And Gibson puts a strike on the inside corner. It's 1-2. Chu 0 for 2. Grounded out in the first, flying out in the second. And he swings and misses, strike 3, and that is the 3rd strikeout tonight for Gibson. Hey, don't miss the Star Wars postgame fireworks show Friday, September 1st. Coming out to the ballpark. It's the Angels and Rangers, and then after the game, the postgame fireworks show set to the music from Star Wars. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. One out in this 5th inning, and here is Andrews. Elvis with the hit that went off Polanco's glove and out into left field. That was back in the 1st inning, and now a slow roller. Escobar charges, bare hands, and his throw is in time. Really nice play by Escobar, 2 away.
It is a really nice play. Not easy to do. We'll talk about this all the time. Adrian Beltre, one of the best in the game, but how about the bare hand? You go wide hand there. Make sure you get your hand as wide as possible. You got to grip that baseball tight. And sometimes you get a funky grip, but look at Escobar there, and he makes that exchange, because when you first catch it, you say exchange what? He left in his hand. No, but you go wide hand, you almost catch it like a changeup, and then you got to kind of change it over to a 4-seam fastball, and he did that perfectly, seamlessly, and made a nice throw.
2 away, and here is Mazzara. Mazzara, an impressive home run in the 1st inning. And the backdoor breaking ball in there for a strike. So 1 for 2 tonight. If Mazzara gets on, Adrian Beltre will get a shot here in the 5th inning. Beltre now sitting on 3,004 career hits, had a single back on the 3rd inning. Little chopper, first base side. Brianza feeds Gibson, and it completes a 1-2-3 inning first of the night for Kyle Gibson. We're halfway there tonight. Rangers leading the Twins 3-0. yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now during the Ford Summer Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. Well, ready to go. Bottom of the 5th inning, 3-0 Rangers lead. It'll be Eddie Rosario, Byron Buxton, and then Adrianza in this 5th inning. Ooh, up and in on Rosario. Our TXU Energy power player to watch. Yeah, 16 games against the Rangers, and nobody yet has been able to collar him. One of those things seems like, you know, a little statistical note, and maybe nothing more than that, except when you're down in the manager's office, and even he brings it up today. Jeff Bannister saying, like, hey, Eddie Rosario, we have to figure out how to stop that guy if we're going to have real success. 1-2. Now the count on Rosario.
Well, this might be the right guy in Cole Hamels. And it's one thing when you have a hitter that has had good success against you, or even in a particular year, whatever it may be. The other thing is, though, is he doing damage, right? Because those are the things that stick out. You may not get a hit in every single game, but you hit 3 home runs in 5 games or something like that, and that certainly is something that will be noticed as well.
Gets a strikeout of Rosario here.
Well, good start here for Cole Hamels, and you'll see the grip on that changeup as that ball goes straight down, and the lefty on lefty changeup. Cole Hamels very effective there against Eddie Rosario. 3 of those in a row. I mean, we talk about lefty on lefty changeup being kind of, you know, it's a little bit of an in vogue pitch. You see it a little bit more over the last few years, but 3 in a row, not something you see all the time.
Well, you look at what he's done against left-handed batters. Only 2 walks this year. 72 lefties faced, and they're hitting well below 200 against him. This one lifted out toward right center field. Long run Robinson, but he can't get to it. Grab it on a bare hand, and now Odor will try to throw back behind Buxton. Buxton's got great speed. It's not going to work very often, but that's a base hit for him. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Dana Larson. Yeah, thanks, Dana.
There are some teams that will not see 78 wins this year, and the Dodgers are absolutely rolling right now.
First pitch to Adrianza. Take a look at the standings in the National League West. 78 and 32.
There's 2 teams in their division that might not see 78 wins.
Sure. And there are 2 teams in their division. They're going to get wild cards and not get within, you know, they might both end up 20 games out. 1-1 the count of Adrianza. He was 0 for 1 tonight. How about that? 2 teams finished 20 out in their division and both get wild cards.
It's a possibility. The National League is so strange this year, and it was very similar to last year, where you have teams that are in rebuilds and not really surprising anybody. And then you get the Giants, who are surprising in the opposite.
Buxton with a huge jump, steals second base easily, goes to third on the error by Robinson Chirinos. And one of those where you almost wondered if Robinson would be better off not even throwing it with the jump that Buxton got.
Yeah, it's hard not to. You know you got a great base runner. You're already thinking about it as that pitch is coming. But yeah, it's a pretty good jump. But you know, a throw on the money, I think, would have made that play maybe a little bit close. A possibility for Chirinos to nail Buxton. But you know what happens, and we talk about this a lot, you rush your throw a little bit because you have a great base runner. And if you don't get all the way on top of the ball, it could sail on you a little bit. Watch this ball sail on Robinson Chirinos and away from Ruben Odor.
So Buxton now at third base. 1-2 the count on Adrianza.
That was just a second stolen base against Cole Hamels this year. He's done a very nice job keeping those base runners at bay.
Well, it's the first time in tonight's game that the Twins have gotten a man so much as into scoring position. 2-2. Little tapper over to the right side. Napoli had to wait for it. Will go to the bag to get Adrianza, and Buxton scores. Twins are on the board. It's a 3-1 game.
Now, certainly Cole thinking strikeout and trying to find a way maybe to prevent this run from scoring, but the exchange for the out, not a terrible one. 3-0 lead, now make it 3-1. The name of the game is always trying to stay away from the big inning. I think in the case here for Cole Hamels, he'll take that out.
That base is empty now, and Max Kepler. Kepler 0 for 1. Well, both teams have played some pretty good defense tonight. That's helped both pitchers in this one. 1-1 the count. Interesting that the error this inning would allow that Twins run to score. So at the moment anyway, an unearned run. A swing and a miss. It's a ball and 2 strikes on Kepler.
Another changeup to a left-handed hitter from Cole Hamels. Trying to go away, but still very effective down and in below the zone.
Bounced foul. The at bat will continue. Kepler's had a little trouble with left-handed pitching this year. For his last 29. Mentioned he grounded out earlier. And this one lined out toward left field, but Gallo is right there. So it ends the inning. An unearned run for the Twins. We'll go to the 6th, and when we come back, Adrian Beltre will lead things off for the Rangers. They're up by 2. Sonic Drive-In, our jackpot $300 plus dinner for 2. That's Sonic Drive-In. Kevin Piper, our contestant from Chandler, Texas tonight. If a Ranger hits a home run, well, Kevin will win $300. If they hit a grand slam, it's worth $25,000 for Kevin. Good luck. Beltre will lead it off. After Adrian, it'll be Rougned Odor and Mike Napoli against Kyle Gibson. The right-hander's first pitch. That one hits the outside corner for a strike. base hit earlier tonight. 3,004 hits now for Beltre. Fouls that one off for strike 2.
There he is on the all-time list, and you and I were talking about, and you mentioned that conversation you had with Paul Molitor and whether or not Adrian could catch him. Molitor is 9th on that list with over 3,300 hits. Paul Molitor's Baseball Reference page is one of those pages you get lost in. Ty Cobb is one of those. You're just looking like, what? You go through the list of things and the accomplishments, and they're pretty incredible. This one stuck out to me as we were talking about him, and I was kind of looking it over. 9 seasons with more walks than strikeouts.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. 9. Or I should say, or the same. He had one season where he was like 48 walks, 48 strikeouts. But he has one of those pages. You'll look. 39 years old, 225 hits.
Man.
That's next year for Adrian Beltre, right? So his age 39 season would be next year. Could Adrian get those kind of hits? Now, it changed a little bit. That was 1996. The relief pitchers were definitely there. 96 was that first year that we saw Mariano Rivera kind of be the setup man to John Wetland, and it was almost like the setup man was born kind of around that time. But nothing like it is now, right? Nothing like it is with these unbelievable relievers that come in as early as they come in games. And that's not to take away anything from Paul Molitor. He was a great hitter. But that is a little bit of it's a little bit of a different game now, even though it's only been, 20 years later.
Odor fouls it off. The count 1-1. 229 hits. Beltre's only had one season with 200 or more hits.
Wasn't it 200 on the nose he had too that year?
I think it was. It was right at it anyway.
Yeah, 225 he had. He had 341 that year at 39 years old.
Yeah, I don't want to say people forget, but Molitor was a different kind of hitter, man.
He's kind of that Tony Gwynn mold, but as a right-hander.
In fact, he and Beltre right now are tied on the all-time doubles list. And so that might be something we see here. Beltre passing Molitor at some point in this series. There it is. Two of them locked up at 605 doubles in their careers.
His second and third year in the big leagues, both years, 48 walks, 48 strikeouts. The next year, 48 walks, 48 strikeouts. That's the kind of stuff, right? You get lost in some of these pages for these guys that played 20 years. Paul Molitor, it was 21. Go look at Cy Young's page. You're like, what? You just look at. You're like, what's going on? What game is that? What game was he playing?
Odor fouls one off his leg and taking a moment to walk this one off.
Yeah, you can tell sometimes when one really stings, and that was the case here for Rougned Odor. Look at his first reaction. He's actually looking out the pitcher there a little bit. You see it catch it. Then he was like, wait a minute.
No, he's okay. One out here in the 6th inning. The 1-2. That'll square it. Odor popped up in the 1st inning, grounded out in the 3rd. And that will fill it. Well, we were talking, was it last night, with Bartolo Colon and his pursuit of Juan Marichal for the most wins among Dominican-born pitchers. Go to Marichal's page and look at the number of seasons with 300+ innings. Is this one turned foul? Or 30 complete games? I mean, Marichal had almost 250 complete games in his career. We were marveling last night at Bartolo Colon, who I think that was number 37 for him in his career.
Marichal had 30 in 1968.
Yeah.
And you talk about Bartolo having 37 over the course of his career. Yeah, those 300 inning seasons are incredible.
Ground ball through into right field for Odor. And so the Rangers have a man on here in the 6th inning.
Arugi does a nice job of bouncing back after tweaking his ankle there a little bit. We saw him take a little bit of time to get himself back together, and he looks perfectly fine. You see the good leg kick and see that foot get down as he drills his base hit right in the hole to the right side.
Well, some activity now in that Twins bullpen. Boshiers gets ready. Mike Napoli into the plate. He has walked, grounded out, and hits this one a ton, but foul.
It's a bomb in cricket.
That's right. Just keep running. Gibson may be getting toward the end of his night. One and one the count. So man on for Napoli. Gibson cannot get him here. I wonder with back-to-back lefties coming up. Might that be the spot where Molitor makes his first move of the night? Here's the 1-1. And that is off the plate.
You can start to see the fatigue here a little bit for Kyle Gibson, who overall has done a pretty nice job his first game back here at the big league level. You can find a way to maybe get a little bit deeper, another hitter or two. You know, the thing about this, you have a game like this and you're doing okay, hanging in there, 3 runs through 5 1/3, but a couple of runners get on, you come out of the game, all of a sudden it turns into a 5 1/3, 5-run game, and it doesn't look so great.
Very close on that though, over on Odor. We saw it last night with Martin Perez. Martin was trailing in the game, but almost got Odor leaning.
You see the good footwork. If you pay attention to a lot of these with righties, you see Odor as he's leaning off, always watch the left knee. Because what good right-handed pitchers do, ones with good moves, they'll flinch that knee just a little bit before they throw over. And technically it's a balk. But if they do it fast enough, an umpire can't see it. And so they'll call it a balk move. We saw, let's see, watch that. Oh yeah. We get to watch and see it all day long. That left knee definitely flinched first, and that's what got Rugi leaning a little bit. All right, Dickey, very good at it. Very quick. Got to keep an eye on him. And these guys know, you talked about advanced meetings and what were they saying about Drew Robinson? That's definitely something that comes up in the conversation. Good balk move, they'll call it.
Well, I could barely see that one, the 2-1. This one down the left field line, foul. Takes it to 2-2. Napoli may want a new bat. This one has more hits in it. But we saw it last night with Martin Perez, right? I mean, he was working in that 5th inning. At the time, it was what, like a 5-3 game, and he'd put a couple of men on base, and then with 2 outs, Bandy stuck with him, but Eddie Rosario got him for that big 2-run single, and it marred what was otherwise at least going to be a competitive outing where he's going to keep his team in it.
That's why trying to finish it off in the end, even if you're losing the game, becomes so important. Because then you feel like, okay, you know, Kyle Gibson in this case, 3 runs in the first 2 innings. Now 3 shutout innings after that. You feel like I'm battling, I'm keeping my team in it. But the next inning you go out there, whatever that last one is, if you can't finish it off, if you can't keep runners off base, it makes the outing look uglier than it felt.
2-2. That one is very high. It's a full count. Martin Perez today, by the way, saying that he felt like he might have been tipping pitches yesterday. Suddenly that's becoming quite the conversation.
It always is, and you have to stay on top of it as a pitcher. It absolutely matters. When you see a team comfortable taking swings off of you, especially off speed pitches, where you feel like, man, I felt like it was a pretty good changeup, man. That guy was all over it. You know, looked really comfortable. That is absolutely something you have to examine. We will kind of joke about it once in a while and say, oh, it's all in your head, but it's absolutely something you need to pay attention to.
Line drive, base hit. That one into center field. Odor will stop at second, so 2 men on here with 1 out in the 6th inning, and this will be very interesting right here. I would imagine that's all. Oh, yep, here he comes. So Paul Molitor out of the dugout and indeed signals to the bullpen. So the lefty will be coming on. 2 men aboard, only 1 out here in the 6th inning. Rangers lead by 2. for more in this 6th inning. Well, attention smartphone users, we invite you to download the Ballpark app for access to mobile Monday ticket offers. Fans using the Ballpark app have access to $5 upper reserve tickets on select Mondays. Get $5 tickets for August 14th. Rangers taking on the Detroit Tigers. Remember, this mobile Monday ticket offer is only available through the Ballpark app. Download it today. Buddy Boshears on here in relief.
23rd game of the year, 4.05 ERA. And what matters really is the splits. And he's done a nice job against left-handed hitters. 194 batting average against. Righties have gotten to him. 292 against the righties. Very respectable strikeout rate at 7.4 and very good walk rate, 2.7. So he throws his strikes. You see the 22 strikeouts, 8 walks there on the year for Boshears. Average fastball sits around 91. You see a curveball and a changeup as well.
So he takes over for Kyle Gibson. Gibson responsible for both runners out there. His night done.
See if Joey Gallo can do what he did last time. That heavy shift will be on against him. Just one man on the left side of the infield. And we saw Joey Gallo hit himself a nice base hit to left field. This would be a great time to do that again.
Swinging for a little bit more right there. I talk about it all the time. The power of Joey Gallo, 4th in the American League. And he's been moving up that list pretty rapidly lately.
He certainly has. It has been a successful season, no doubt about it. Still just under 2 months to go. We'll see where Joey ultimately ends up, but it does feel like 40 is a possibility for him, and that would be a huge success. There's that shift. Routine ground ball to shortstop, gets you a base hit and an RBI.
He's got Odor at second, Napoli at first. They're concerned with the base runners. Talk about home runs per at bat, or how many at bats are we talking about? What are you talking about? You're talking about at bats per home run.
That's cut. Let's do it again.
Let's try it again.
Let's run that back one
Take
more
2.
time.
That was good. 1 strike pitch.
The at bats per home run ratio, and it is certainly a good one for Joey Gallo. There it is. AB/HR.
Yeah, that might have been the easier way to talk about the AB/HR ratio. Best ever single season ratio in Rangers history.
This guy struggled a little bit here to get on the same page as far as what Boshears wants to do to Joey Gallo. He has inherited 12 runners this year. 5 of those have scored, so 42% have scored.
Bouncer right side to his left. Dozier, he's got it, throws it back to first, and they get Gallo, but both runners do advance. That one just about snuck through.
I thought we were going to see Brian Dozier get a little bit aggressive and maybe try to go to second base on this ball, but he had decided pretty early. Watch this right here. You see where he catches this ball? I can't imagine why he didn't spin and try to throw to second base and at least eliminate one of those runners out of scoring position, but he decided to just take the one out at first base. Kind of a surprise.
No, it does now, as it gives Drew Robinson an opportunity to dump one somewhere there in the outfield and score 2 runs. Drew with a base hit and a walk in the game tonight, but against the left-hander Boshears here. And that one way in on him for ball 1. Robinson, outside of the versatility that allows Jeff Bannister to use him all over the diamond, the bat is really what got everybody's attention. And he takes this one off the plate. It's 2-0. We saw him in spring training. He really led the Rangers offensively in all the run producing power statistic categories for the better part of spring training. Got a lot of playing time. Nice job at AAA, and when he has been in the lineup, he has hit for power. Not a ton of opportunity. He was ahead 2-1 at the moment, and might get something pretty good to hit in this at bat. Breaking ball, and that's a strike. It's 2-2.
It's a good one there on the corner, 79 miles an hour. After falling behind in the count 2-0, Shears has come back and had a couple of pretty good pitches. Not what Drew Robinson maybe was expecting after he saw a 2-1 fastball. Now he gets a 2-1 breaking ball. We'll see what they decide to do here on the 2-2 count.
Shears on and off that rubber quite a bit this inning, seemingly having a little trouble with Jimenez trying to figure out what to throw. Maybe struggling with the signs. 2-2. That's a full count. What is the confusion?
It's a good question. I think it's got. I don't know if it's signs or if it's more strategy or if guys are changing their minds. But there seems to be a real lack of communication now. Whether it's because Jimenez has a plan and knows what he wants to do. I mean, there's just not a lot of data on Drew Robinson, right? So that's the one thing. So maybe he feels like he has seen something in the swings that would tell him this would be the right approach. But this is getting kind of lengthy and interesting. Now, it could be just more about the pitcher and saying, you know, a lot of times for guys, your catcher might believe in something more than you believe in. Let's just say using the breaking ball as an example and saying, let's go breaking ball here. You can tell as some hesitation on my pitcher's part, but I know if he executes this pitch, he's going to get this hitter. And so sometimes, you know, you got to go be a salesman and really talk that pitcher into believing in that pitch to be the right one.
Well, swing and a miss. He gets Drew Robinson. And that ends the Rangers' threat in the 6th inning. They leave 2 in scoring position. We go to the last of the 6th inning in a 2-run game.
Mound to start the bottom of the 6th, but earlier today, Jake Diekman threw BP. He threw about 30 pitches, and pitching coach Doug Broquel said that the goal was to get him really good and tired, and guys, they succeeded. Jake told us afterwards his arm felt very heavy, that he's really, the strength is not at a 10 yet from a scale from 1 to 10. He said, you know, honestly, he said it's a process and that this is a little bit frustrating, but he has to remember that they're treating this like it's spring training, guys. And the good news is he thinks he's ready for a rehab assignment. When that will happen yet, we don't know. But good news is he got out there today.
Well, that is great news, and I know He is very excited and really wanted to push this thing and get back as quickly as possible. He had been talking about, what, 20 days prior to he can throw his first bullpen, about when that might be. And that is good to see. Jake Diekman, not so fun for the hitters in that spot necessarily. Saw Mike Napoli there, and they're certainly happy to help out, but it's kind of an awkward position you're in. You're facing your own teammate. You know, he's been through a battle trying to get back on the mound.
Polanco with a sharp foul ball, 1-2 the count. And afterward, Diekman talking about the arm, felt like 50 pounds. I'm tired. Yep. That's all right. That's a big step today for him. Hamels, meanwhile, is pretty good, and a breaking ball rolled to short. Elvis Andrus is there, and that is out number 1 here in the 6th inning. Well, a Texas Rangers suite rental is the perfect way to entertain your clients, family, and friends this season. All regular season nightly suite rental packages include parking and a food and beverage package. Just go to texasrangers.com/suites or call 972-RANGERS and reserve your suite today. One out here in the 6th inning. Top of the order now. Dozier shows bunt and takes a ball. On the 1-0. And you get a high strike call. Leaving things at 1-1 on the switch hitting Polanco. Pardon me, Dozier.
You're so excited to read that Sweets promo.
Almost forget to fill in your scorebook,
Oh,
but you know, listen, it happens.
You don't have to tell me. Got me in the 2nd inning. Forgot about you flying out to right field and put that as the end of the inning. Got double highlighters in the 2nd inning. That's I try to pretend it doesn't bother me. It does.
There's a swinging strikeout of Dozier. 2 away in this 6th inning. Now looking ahead tomorrow, by the way, the final game of this series, a long 4-game series here in Minnesota. Nick Martinez, Jose Barrios. Interesting pitching matchup. It's going to be interesting to see Barrios throw. We've heard a lot about him and read a lot about him, but we have not yet seen him pitch.
I'm with you. You know, certainly excited to see him live in person. Look forward to watching him give it up a little bit too. That'd be great. But no, you know, a guy that a lot of people have talked about for a while, right? Top prospect and everything else, and he's gotten to the big leagues and some struggles at first for him, but he does seem like he's kind of righted the ship a little bit. So an arm that they're very excited about here in Minnesota, and we'll get our first look at him tomorrow.
Grossman fouls this one off. The count 1-1. Bottom of the 6th inning in a 2-run game. In some ways, the Rangers have more or less dominated this one to this point. And yet at the same time, it is very much a game. Teams with very similar records. And a hard ground ball down to first base. Napoli will go to the bag himself and completes a 1-2-3 inning for Cole Hamels, whose pitch count is very much in check through 6. Summary, you see a 3-1 score. The bottom note there is the one that really has my attention. 63 pitches through 6 innings for Cole Hamels. Wow.
Incredible. He's done a nice job, been very efficient. Just a couple of strikeouts tonight, but he'll take it because he has put himself in a really good position to continue to go deep into this ball game right now. 3 strikeouts total for Cole Hamels, and just that 1 run allowed. But yeah, weak contact, done a great job.
Ryan Presley coming on for the 35th time this year.
High ERA, you see it there. The whip, though, we talked about this last time with him. Respectable whip, very respectable strikeout to walk ratio, but the runs have come across so far here for Presley. And the batting average is pretty ugly, especially against lefties. 380 is that batting average for left-handed hitters. Done a nice job, though, against the righties. Almost like he's a right-handed specialist. 209 batting average against the righties.
Well, in this 7th inning, he'll get the right-handed hitting Robinson Chirinos, and then to the top for the lefty Chu. Rangers lineup today does not feature any back-to-back right-handed hitters, so really tough to get a guy like Presley in there where he's going to see enough righties to justify it based on the numbers you're talking about. Chirinos 0 for 1, a sac fly earlier. Big swing and a miss there.
He's got good stuff. You see 96 right there. That's the average fastball velocity for Presley. The slider is at 90, which really tells you it's probably more of a cutter. Throw a curveball as well that sits around 84.
He takes care of Chirinos on 3 pitches.
When you have this kind of fastball, elevating it is always a good idea with 2 strikes, and it wasn't intentional. They were trying to go down and away, but it's one of those misses that I guess you'd call it a quality miss, a lucky miss in the right spot.
So on away to the top of the order now, and the left-handed hitting Shin-Soo Choo.
There was the curveball, and Chu was showing bunt. That would have been a very difficult pitch to try to bunt against. That is a sharp curveball. You can see why righties would have a hard time with that.
So far, all he does is throw strikes. 4 of them so far, and the pitch on the way to Chu. There's a ball, 1-1. Chu hitless so far tonight in 3 tries. This one line to third. What a leaping grab by Escobar. Oh, man. More sparkling defense tonight.
The left side of the infield has been very good here for the Minnesota Twins tonight. We saw the great double play earlier tonight, and now a very nice play here and some good ups. Tuck and roll afterwards. Stop, drop, and roll for Escobar. But you love seeing this as a pitcher. You're thinking base hit, and we had already talked about for Presley the struggles against lefties, right? So he sees a pretty hard hit ball left side and thinking, man, another hit to a lefty, but no, Escobar is there to take it away.
So 2 gone, and it brings up Elvis Andrus. 3-1 Rangers lead. He runs that one in on Elvis. Andrews 3 for 4 yesterday, 1 for 3 so far today. He's hitting 6 straight now, and a bouncer deep in the hole short. Long throw for Polanco, and it is in time. Well, 1-2-3 inning for Ryan Presley. They'll stand and stretch here tonight. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning in a 2-run game. inning. Part of the order coming up here against Cole Hamels, Eduardo Escobar, Chris Jimenez, and Eddie Rosario. Hamels has been terrific tonight, and his breaking ball drops right in there for strike one. Escobar 1 for 2. His base hit came in the 4th inning. For some reason, he thought it was going to be a double, and then he got thrown out at second base. Hard bouncer, shortstop. Nice pick by Andrus, and his throw across the diamond in time. Not an easy play, as Elvis had to head up the middle, get himself set, and show off the good arm. So 1 away. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. Hamels and Bert Blyleven, the only 2 pitchers in baseball history to throw a no-hitter in their final game with the team. Hamels, of course, did it with the Phillies in late July of 15, right before being traded to the Rangers, and Blyleven did it as well. Bouncer up the middle, right to second base, and Odor retires Jimenez. 2 gone.
Let's go ahead and take a look at that no-hitter by Cole Hamels. That last game as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies back in 2015, going up against the Chicago Cubs, and Chris Bryant gives that last one a ride, and then was that Odubel Herrera, right? If I remember correctly, that
I think you're right. Yep.
Ugly catch in the outfield, but nevertheless, he made it almost a disaster. But instead it turned into a no-hitter for Cole Hamels. What a nice moment for him when you think about that long career that he had in Philadelphia and all that he had done for that organization. That was a very cool send-off.
Of course, a classic finish on that catch, too, because, I mean, let's face it, that's happened to more than one outfielder in that ballpark.
Yes, it has.
Bouncer foul. 1-1 the count on Rosario. And then the great side story to that no-hitter was that Hamels, who was in every trade rumor at the time, Cubs were among the teams that thought, hey, we might get him. As he had to walk across the field after the game for a press interview, Cubs fans all started cheering, thinking, he's going to our clubhouse. No, he's going to be interviewed. Inning done on the fly ball to center field. A 6-pitch inning for Cole Hamels. We go to the 8th. Here we go to the 8th inning. The Rangers leading by 2. Nomar Mazara has delivered the big hit today, the 2-run homer in the 1st inning. That'll be Mazara, Adrian Beltre, and Rougned Odor. Sonny Boshier stays in the game. Pardon me, Ryan Presley stays in the game here in the 8th inning.
So we were talking about his batting average against lefties, and it's been a struggle for him this year. Talking about Ryan Presley, 380 coming into this one. He did retire Chu. Well, tie a little bow on our Babbitt conversation. So it's a 380 batting average against. Batting average on balls in play is going to be higher. 444. So nearly half the balls that lefties have put in play.
Oh.
That is unbelievable.
It's not good. It's a breaking ball.
Hits. Yeah, what that means is essentially 45% of the balls that have been put in play by lefties have gone down for hits.
Some hard living. 0-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss, so he strikes out Mazzara. We are underway in the 8th inning. Well, don't miss Aaron Watson in a post-game concert Saturday, August 19th, presented by Budweiser. It's the Chicago White Sox in town. And then afterward, the Aaron Watson concert. So go to texasrangers.com/concerts for game tickets, as well as information on how you can see the Aaron Watson concert from the field. Beltre dancing out of the way. Ball 1 for 3 tonight. And another one that has him light on his feet, 2-0.
Back-to-back breaking balls. They're sharp. I mean, you can see the stuff, and I mentioned it earlier. You can see why Ryan Presley has dominated right-handed hitters this year, but you're almost at a loss and why the lefties have been an issue, because with that kind of live stuff, absolutely will still be able to get good left-handed hitters out. We saw the way that he handled Nomar Mazzara, 3 breaking balls in a row, well-located ones. A strikeout.
Well, Presley has retired 4 in a row in this relief outing. His 2-1 pitch. Hard ground ball. 1 hop, though, to shortstop. And Polanco gets his man 2 away.
We've seen it now for nearly 3 games in this series for the Minnesota Twins. They're good defenders. They do a really nice job. We've talked about the outfield and the range that we have seen out there. We've seen some really great defense on the left side of the infield. A really unbelievable double play that was turned earlier tonight. It's a good foundation here for them. There's some young players that definitely can catch the baseball. And we talked about coming into this series. They've been on a cold streak going back to the beginning of June, and the home runs that they allowed and the home runs that they were hitting, the differential was the worst in Major League Baseball since the beginning of June. But you can see a couple of reasons maybe to be optimistic, at least on the defensive side. They've done an excellent job catching the baseball, turning batted balls into outs. There's a stat called. Have you ever looked at this one? Defensive efficiency. You ever seen that one on Baseball Reference?
Yep.
Kind of like it. It doesn't tell the whole story, but it's a nice little kind of reference point. How many times the ball has been put into play, and how many times your defense has turned it into an out.
Two gone here on the 1-1 pitch to Odor. Breaking ball, and that's in there for a strike. Stands Rookie straight up.
Well, he thought it was high, and he thought this ball, if anything, maybe we watch it finish at the top of the zone, but he's saying, well, it didn't cross the plate a strike, and he might have a pretty good argument there. See the reaction from Odor.
It is high, and it is 2-2.
I'm really enjoying the animated Rougned Odor. We've seen it a little bit here. I think maybe, I don't know if we're noticing it more, if I'm noticing it more over the last couple of weeks. So some fun animations here from Rougned Odor and his at-bats.
Presley trying to make it 2 innings in relief. His 2-2 pitch fouled back. We will reset and try it one more time. We're talking about some of the youth with this club here in Minnesota. Ran into Thad Levine today downstairs, the general manager here in Minnesota, formerly with the Rangers. High spirits, excited about what's going on here, and a lot of those young players, as you mentioned. 2-2, and this one is bounced on the ground. A diving stop again up the middle. Are you kidding me? Well, they keep doing it. Escobar at third base had moved over to the other side of second.
Well, this is incredible. First a line out, and then going to his left, essentially playing second base, and from his knees, a perfect throw.
Rangers with the 2-run lead, and their starter Cole Hamels in cruise mode tonight. He has been unbelievable. Allowed just one man into scoring position and has allowed one unearned run. Byron Buxton fouls off strike one.
Let's take a look at this pitches by inning here tonight for Cole Hamels. I mean, 8, a 5, and a 6. I mean, that is absurd. His worst inning was 16, and that's pretty much right around his average, actually. 15.4 pitches per innings pitch is what Cole Hamels has done this year, which is a very good rate. That would put him, he doesn't qualify, of course, because he missed some time this year. That put him right around 13th, 14th in the big leagues among starters this year. It's a very, very good number, but he's been even better tonight.
1-1 pitch, and it is very high. A pretty nifty effort so far for Cole Hamels. Got a little early run support. And on Buxton, it's 3-1. Got that run support, and then has just gone after these guys.
So we'll see if he can keep that pitch count down and, you know, potentially finish off this game. Cole Hamels' last complete game was his last game of the season in 2015 against the Angels, where he threw 9 innings, allowed 2 runs. It was a game that the Rangers won 9-2. That was 2015. The one before that was the no-hitter that we showed.
Buxton waits, a 3-2 pitch. And this one blooped out towards center field. Robinson, a couple of steps to his right. One away. Hey, MLB.com at bat, your #1 mobile app for live Rangers baseball. Follow the Rangers with game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, news, and more. Just download MLB.com at bat today. That play by Robinson there was interesting, because the one thing he did say today when we were talking about playing center field, he said there's one play that can jam him up a little bit. This is tough for any center fielder, and that's the ball hit right at you, especially a big swing on a ball that doesn't carry. So one thing that he is concerned about, if you don't read the depth of the ball or the trajectory of the ball well as it comes right at you, could lock you up just a little bit.
Well, that'll get you, and most outfielders will definitely tell you that, especially in that position. The swing will fool you. We see a lot of times, and you see this one here off the bat, and you catch it off the end, and the ball's up in the air, and plenty of time for Drew Robinson to get to it. But the reaction, especially big swing, and it looks at first like, did a guy get it well, is to take that step back and to try to read the ball. And you realize, oh man, he got jammed, or it was off the end, and you're kind of busting tail and trying to play catch up. Those are really tricky, especially when they're right at you.
Adrianza had the count here, 2 balls and a strike. He is 0 for 2 tonight, but has driven in the 1 run for the Twins. It was a little rollout to first base. 2-2. I was mentioning last inning how I ran into Thad Levine and was asking about this team and how he's feeling as a general manager with his club. I asked him about the Jaime Garcia deal, right? I mean, they acquired him for the Braves, pitched well for him, and then he was traded right away to the Yankees as a swing and a miss. That's strike 3, 2 gone. So I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like money laundering. You traded a rookie league pitcher in Inoa to Atlanta, and you got Anthony Recker and Jaime Garcia. Recker, a minor leaguer. So you got 2 guys for the rookie league pitcher. Then you traded one of them, Garcia, to the Yankees, and you got 2 more minor league. How did you do that? He said that was not the intention, of course. How about this? He said, when we traded for Jaime Garcia, we were like a half game out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we're like, hey, we're in this. We got to go for it. He said, then by the time we got back, he said, we're 6.5 out. Like 6 days later, I got to trade him.
It is really unbelievable. I don't know if we've seen that too often, especially just 1 start for Jaime Garcia that he made for the Minnesota Twins. But it was that bad of a road trip. And then also, because it's so tightly packed, you go on a bad run, as much as you and I have been talking about, hey, who's going to go on the good run and maybe try to take command of this thing? Well, what about a bad run and how quickly that puts you out? And yeah, let's go ahead and change course and flip him for something. And it's probably the smart move. They didn't, as much as we talk about defense looks good and some things going on here that maybe they're feeling good about. This right now, this roster today doesn't necessarily look like a roster for me that can go on that run and really find themselves in the postseason. So it was probably encouraging to the guys here that they were trading for help, but I think it makes a lot of sense probably to go ahead and reverse course there a little bit.
Well, as it turns out, they added some depth to their system. Check swing, and that's strike 3. So he went. And another strikeout for Hamels and another perfect half inning for him. We go to the 9th inning. Rangers still lead by 2. with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. Well, nice night tonight here in the Twin Cities. Rangers leading 3-1. And we go to the ninth. Napoli, Gallo, Robinson due, and another new pitcher on for Minnesota.
Well, the second lefty coming out of this bullpen, Taylor Rogers, now on for his 48th game of the year. CRA, the strikeouts and the walks, everything else there. Rogers, very good job against the lefties this year. 225, 267 against the righties, a 253 overall batting average against. Good fastball will sit around 93 miles an hour. You get a curveball at 79 and a changeup at 88.
So he's set to go against Mike Napoli. Fourth pitcher of the night, Ryan Presley. Really nice job. 2 scoreless innings, struck out 2. And his first pitch up and away for a ball. Well, they're still trying to figure out what their bullpen situation is here, specifically how they're going to close games. And one of their options is Taylor Rogers, a guy that they like as a potential in that spot, depending on the matchup situations. And he goes 2-1 here on Napoli. They're a very similar situation as to the one the Rangers find themselves into. That's a strike. It's 2-2. Napoli with a walk, a run scored, a base hit, and he is grounded out. Point him straight up, pretty much on the infield, and this one fouled away. It stays 2-2.
Good swing there by Mike Napoli. I'm sure he'd love to get another shot of that one. We always look at these matchups for Mike Napoli when he's facing these left-handed pitchers as ones that would be favorable for him. The great power, of course, from Mike Napoli, and batting average down a little bit overall for him this year, but 234 against lefties as opposed to the 190 against righties this season.
Swings and misses, and it's a strikeout for Rogers to begin his evening. Hey, Rangers fans, download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by AT&T and Hyundai. Here's big Joey Gallo now. Gallo with the 1-for-3 going tonight. That one way off the plate. 2-0 the count. We talk a lot about Joey Gallo and where this season is heading for him. 45 walks now this year. He's done a pretty good job of trying to be a little more selective, draw some of those walks. We've acknowledged the strikeouts and the fact that those are going to follow his game. 136 of them so far this year. That's one thing, but if you can balance that with some free bases and pump up the on-base percentage a little bit, it can work out as he takes a strike, and it's 3-1. He's got an on-base percentage of .318 coming into play today, right near league average. 3-1. That one got in on him a little bit.
Almost turned that into a double. I mean, you You make that ball just a little bit fair, maybe catching the line, and based on this defensive shift and the fact that Joey Gallo can run pretty well, as this fastball ran in on him unintentionally. They were trying to go down and away, and the ball came back and really ran in. Got all in Joey Gallo's kitchen. But look at the shift right here. Shift, right? So that ball hits that line. It's an easy double. Nice play by Tony Peasley.
Well, now the 3-2. Curveball got him looking. That's a pretty nice pitch.
You know, it's so funny, too. We just talked about how the fastball accidentally finished in, but it's a great combination. The pitch before this, fastball, and you come back with a breaking ball that's painted on the corner away, and Joey Gallo knew it right away. That pitch, it's a good one no matter what, but maybe not quite as effective if the previous pitch was a fastball away. But because you ran one up and in, you break a guy's bat, you make him aware in, and then you go back the other way with a really good breaking pitch. That's a really nice combination against left-handed hitters.
This one comes in and gets Gomez. Oh, Carlos Gomez. So what did I do? Just came on to pinch hit, and he gets plunked.
See it right there, and Carlos Gomez turns in and caught some batting gloves that he has there in his back pocket. Like he says, hey man, what's going on here?
He's been sitting over here all night. What's your issue? Well, he can run. And they are aware of that. Ninth inning, man on here. See, Gomez definitely not happy.
The thing about Drew Robinson, he really has not faced the lefties at all. Just 4 at-bats for him this year, 1 for 4 against lefties. And so because this is still a close game, this is something that's probably premeditated for Jeff Bannister as he's putting the lineup together today. So okay, we'll give Drew Robinson a start against the righty Gibson, but if he sees a lefty and the game is close and it's an important at-bat, it's not at all surprising that he would go to Carlos Gomez. And even though, yes, the Rangers are winning, it's still a very close game.
Another toss over there to first base. Gomez edges away. Oh boy, he's I'm not an expert at reading lips, but I think that was, "Are you kidding me?"
Granky said, "Listen, man,
he's in a mood." If you get a whiff of that, do you just keep throwing over there to irritate somebody?
It depends. I mean, you still got to play the game and do the right thing. And I don't know necessarily if Rogers feels comfortable enough doing that against Carlos Gomez. If you've been around a little bit, you want to have some gamemanship, yeah, why not? Carlos is not interested in goofing around right now at all.
He's going. And the 1-1, no throw offered. Jimenez couldn't even get a throw off. And so a stolen base for Gomez. I think that one felt good. At number 250 in his career.
What a great jump by Carlos Gomez. And you're absolutely right. I mean, he is studying that lefty now. He goes first move and he guesses right. Part of that is getting lucky with your guess too, as you're trying to read. But he went. He wasn't waiting till that leg kick came up and then trying to read the lefty. He took off as soon as that front foot came up.
Now the 1-2. And this one fouled away. So the spot now where Chirinos can really drive in a real nice insurance run. 3-1 our score, 9th inning. Gomez now out there at second base. And that would be a real nice one to have for Cole Hamels. Although Cole might tell you, I got it. Don't worry. He is dealt so far tonight. Rangers won the opening game of this series on Thursday. Dropped last night's game. Trying to bounce back here. Check swing. Nope. 2-2. Quite the extended bat going right here between Rogers and Chirinos.
Evan Grant telling us that was Carlos Gomez's 250th stolen base of his career.
That's weird because I feel like I just said that.
I wasn't listening.
Bouncing ball third base, and that one pops up over third into left field, and coming around to score is Carlos Gomez after his 250th career stolen base.
I just heard about that. I was too busy reading Evan's tweet.
It's 4-1. That is awesome.
Listen, an important run right now. Robinson Chirinos, good to see him get this base hit as well. He's been grinding all night behind the plate. He's had a couple of tough at-bats, although he did have the big sacrifice fly back in the second inning as well. But an insurance run right now for Cole Hamels. Love to see him get that opportunity to go out there and finish off this game, and one more run will certainly help his chances.
So Chirinos, and nice for him too, because he drove in a run earlier with a sac fly. Gets his first hit of the night. Here is Shin-Soo Choo. Choo 0 for 4. Those rare hitless nights, at least to this point, and he takes a strike. It's 1-1. Well, Rangers trying to earn their 53rd win. If they can get this one tonight. We talk a lot about trying to get back to 500. That's the first goal. Get to 500. Then you could start entertaining, realistically, where you stand in the wild card race. Despite the fact, really now still well shy of 500, they're very much in the wild card race. Only 4.5 back coming in today.
No, they absolutely are. And people say, well, you traded Yu Darvish. I mean, throwing in the towel. No, absolutely not. The team is still very capable of going on a run. But that margin for error is a lot smaller, and you're going to ask some guys to step in a little bit. Nick Martinez. Going tomorrow, he is a guy you look to and say, yeah, we would need Nick Martinez to be pretty good the rest of the way to give us a chance.
And A.J. Griffin, and he was good the other night. Chirinos with a small lead. And the 1-2. Okay, up into the seats. Stays 1-2 on Choo. Rogers' fourth pitcher of the night. Gibson went 5 1/3 in the start. Buddy Boshear's 2/3 of an inning. Ryan Presley 2 innings. And now Rogers. Breaking ball, and that's fouled off. Keep the at-bat going. It's going to be a 25 pitch inning at minimum for Rogers. That one's tight. Did he go? Yes, he did. Oh. Ryan Blackney down there at third base rings up Choo. It ends the inning. But to the bottom of the ninth we go. Cole Hamels with a chance to complete this one tonight. He leads 4-1.
great Evan Grant. Right above him.
There we go.
It's my 17-year-old son, Matthew.
Hey, he's on his phone.
Shocker. He's probably just sending his dad a text. You're doing a great job, Dad. I'm really proud of you. Or he's texting his girlfriend.
Well, here we go now, 9th inning. And Cole Hamels with a chance for the complete game. And he gets strike one in there as Carlos Gomez stays in the game at center.
So I know you've heard of this before, but complete games under 100 pitches, they call it
Maddox.
A Maddox, named after Greg Maddox. Cole Hamels has that opportunity.
Fly ball out to right field, drops in. That's a base hit. And Polanco pedals to second base with a leadoff double. 17th of the year for Polanco, and that's an interesting start for the Twins.
It certainly is, and it's a breaking ball and well located, down and away, 78 miles an hour from Cole Hamels. That's a good pitch, and got to credit the hitter, Polanco, doing a nice job of taking that one the other way. But how big is that extra run right now? The difference between facing the potential tying run and Brian Dozier, who we know has got a lot of power, as opposed to having a little bit of extra breathing room. So very important. Carlos Gomez does an excellent job of stealing that base, and then Robinson Chirinos drives him in.
No, here is Dozier. Dozier has represented a difficult at bat tonight for Hamels. In the first 3 innings, he was the only Twin to reach base. Had the single in the first inning, the walk in the third. He has since struck out. Man at second, nobody out. Here in the bottom of the 9th inning. That one is high. It's 2-0. Well, Hamels had made it look pretty easy through 8 innings. Really had not been pushed in any particular inning. The run he has allowed, an unearned run thanks to an error. And in fact, Polanco is only the second Twin to get as far as second base. There's a strike. It's 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's never easy, but Cole Hamels has made it look easy so far here tonight as he's working hard to try to finish this thing off. He's been relatively stress-free, just the one walk. You mentioned no earned runs and one at bat with a runner in scoring position up until this point. This is just the second.
There is activity just in case. Clerk warming up from the right side. Looked like Claudio already hot and ready from the left side if needed. This will be pitch number 92 for Hamels. It's fouled off. Hamels 5 wins, 1 loss, an ERA of 4.01. 33 years old. This is only his 13th start of the year. Had to miss that time with the oblique strain. 2-2 pitch and a bouncer at third base. Beltre will look the runner back, take care of Dozier, 1 away. Well, tomorrow we'll wrap up this series as we take a look at our progressive upcoming schedule. And finale tomorrow, a day game here in Minnesota. Then it's off to New York Tuesday night and Wednesday early in New York against the Mets. The team will have the day Monday in New York just to relax. Then head home after the game Wednesday. Thursday at home to relax, and then a big weekend series against the Astros.
The Astros lost tonight in extra innings, now 2-4 since the trading deadline.
Pop up by Grossman. Short right field, and Odor puts it away, 2 out. And so Hamels 1 out away from the complete game.
You see it here. We talked about it. October 4th, 2015. That was his last start of the regular season. And it was a big one, of course, when the Rangers clinched the American League West Division title. What a run that was in 2015. Remember all the work the bullpen had been doing. That was a big one. Now, he did allow a couple of runs in that game last time. He's threw a complete game without any earned runs, was the no-no we were talking about earlier. Bartolo Colon did it on 106 pitches yesterday. He's also 11 years older than Cole Hamels. I'm liking Cole's chances right now, getting this thing under 100 pitches.
Well, right in there for a strike to Eduardo Escobar, who's 1 for 3. Polanco started it with a double. Dozier with a ground out. Grossman popped up. Now the 1-strike pitch. Bouncing ball, shortstop. Andrews over to first in time, and this one is over. Hamels with a complete game win on 96 pitches. Rangers take it 4-1.
Well, it was a lot of fun to watch, and we talked about it kind of being a stress-free night for Cole Hamels, but even after the leadoff double, like, it was nothing. It's okay. Well, now it's starting to get a little heated. A couple of guys getting up in the bullpen. Well, no, Cole Hamels just retires the next 3 hitters like it is nothing, and just a terrific game overall here for Cole Hamels, and we love this. 2 hours and 41 minutes was all it took.
His best Bartolo Colon impression. Never broke a sweat, man. He was cool and calm through it all tonight. 4-1. Rangers win this one and a chance to win the series tomorrow. Hey, Dana Larson, Tom Grieve.